Okay, well, where we are right now is the village, or well, the hamlet of Rideau Ferry, which is on the big Rideau Lake. We're actually at the Rideau Ferry General Store here, and I'm going to get out. Um, yeah, get out here. Just looking to make sure there isn't any fluids leaking. I don't see anything. Okay, yeah. This is on the Rideau Ferry Road. It's a little redundant. I keep saying Rideau Ferry, but you know. Anyway, I want to take you up on the bridge here. That's what I want to do. Alrighty. Yeah. The Bay Road actually runs between Highway 15 south and the Rideau Ferry Road. Comes up there. I actually came here over the bridge here. In that direction is Lombardy, which is on Highway 15. The little hamlet of Lombardy. And back the other way, if you follow this road, it'll take you into the town of Perth. If you turn right at Lombardy, that will eventually take you into the city of Kingston. And if you turn left at the hamlet of Lombardy, that will take you into the town of Smiths Falls. And that is Big Rideau Lake. Big Rideau Lake. This bridge was built in I believe, the late 1960s. There was another bridge here prior to that, and unfortunately, that bridge was destroyed by a tractor trailer. Somebody tried to drive a tractor trailer over it, and it wasn't strong enough bridge for that anyway. And so the tractor trailer wrecked the bridge, so they had to replace it. That's what happened. I've seen pictures of the bridge that was here with the tractor trailer stuck on it, you know, and partially submerged into the lake. Yeah. It's a pretty spot. In the summertime, it's quite nice, like when it's actually sunny and warm out. They have a big fishing derby here every year. They do. And when my mom and dad were first together, when they first got together as a couple, my mom's parents didn't approve of my dad at all. They never approved of him, really. But my mom's dad, my grandpa on my mom's side of the family, was a member of the Freemasons. And anyway, there's a story that I'll tell you when we come over the bridge here. Oh, that's quite a good light that girl's got on her bicycle there. There'd be no danger of not seeing her, you know. With that light on, there'd be no excuse to hit her, I'll tell you that, because if you can't see that, you probably shouldn't be driving. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, down this way, it looks like it's gone now, but there used to be a motel. It's looking like the motel is gone now, though. But there was a motel right here. There was a motel. I remember the motel. The motel was still around until fairly recently, but it like I say, it looks like it's gone now. But when my mom and dad were first together, my mom stayed at this motel that was here, and the motel was run by a man by the name of Mr. Cheatham. Anyway, my dad dropped my mom off here after work. They worked together in a factory called Beach Industries. It was a factory where they made toolboxes and things like that. Anyway, they worked there. They worked in Smiths Falls at Beach Industries together. Well, after work, my dad dropped my mom off here. This is before I was around. And she goes into the motel, into her motel room, and a few minutes later, Mr. Cheatham, who owned the business, come and knocked on her door, and he said, "I'm going to have to ask you to leave the premises." And my mom said, "Well, why?" She said, "I'm paid up, and I haven't caused any trouble. Why are you asking me to leave?" And he looked at her and he said, "I don't want any trouble. You have to leave." Well, it turned out the reason for it was Mr. Cheatham was a member of the Masonic Lodge, like my mom's dad, my grandpa. And I guess my mom's dad caught wind of the fact that my mom was staying at the motel, and so he went to Mr. Cheatham and he said, "You don't let her stay at your motel." And that's what happened anyway. So my mom got evicted from the motel, and she said she noticed that Mr. Cheatham was wearing a Masonic ring. When he came to see her, he had a Masonic ring on his finger. So she put two and two together, and it was later confirmed, some years later, that is what had happened anyway. Apparently, her father had followed my dad's car. When my dad brought my mom home from work, he followed them from Beach Industries, and he saw my dad drop her off here, and he saw her go into a room. So he knew it used to be, like I said, there used to be a motel. It was all, like I say, it's gone now. But anyway, that was the story anyway there. And then my mom wanted to get her things out of her parents' house, and so she was kind of afraid, though, you know, she didn't want a big scene. So my dad said, "Well, we'll go to the police, and the police will give us basically that they'll come to keep the peace, you know. Basically, they'll come and they'll be there to keep the peace." Well, so my mom and dad went to the police station in Smiths Falls, and the chief of police made my mom come into his office by herself, not with my dad, just by herself. And he told her, he said, "We will not help you." And he said, "You need to go back home to your parents and stop all this foolishness and go back home to your parents." And again, he was wearing a Masonic ring. So my mom was able to put two and two together and figure out what was going on there too. So, yeah. Anyway, just more history. More history for you. Oh, look at that, hey? That's beautiful. Oh, wow. That's kind of nice to see. It's a privilege to see that, it is. And on the water, I don't know if it's going to show up or not, but there's a goose out there, or a duck. I'm not sure. It might be a duck. I don't know. It just dove under the water. It's probably after a fish. But yeah. Anyway, this is the hamlet of Rideau, Ferry, Ontario, Canada. And this is Big Rideau Lake. And as you can see, it's a busy place. I remember when I was a teenager, I was staying at a cottage down that way on the lake, and I was working in town, and I used to sometimes stop at the store here and get the mail, because the cottage mail for the cottage came to the store here. There's a post office in there, and there was a scooter, an old 1950s scooter. It was an Italian one. It started with an L of a name. I don't know my things very well, but apparently they're worth a lot of money now. If you have one of those now, it's worth a lot of money. But it was up for sale outside the store, and it was in running condition. It was something you could actually ride up and down the road. This was in the mid-1980s, and they wanted $20 for it. I remember that. I looked at that and I thought about buying it, but I really didn't want to ride a scooter, so I didn't buy it. But it was a neat thing, and I wish I had bought it now and just put it away somewhere, is what I wish I had done. Anyway, it'd be worth a friggin' fortune now. But it started with an L, the name of it, and I can't remember now offhand, but I know it was an Italian thing, and it was from the 1950s. I remember that. Oh, it says I'm doing 5 kilometers per hour. There you go. I didn't think I was moving that fast, but it says I am. Anyway, holy smokes. I get winded easy. Anyway, that's another story for you. Anyway, right here. The store was different back then. This building looks a lot different than the building that was here in those days. But it's either been heavily renovated or it's been torn down and rebuilt. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah. All right. Alrighty, well, that's it. That's just another story for you. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. One of the things that's neat about this place, though, is before the bridge, long ago, this was called Oliver's Ferry. And the reason is because, oh, there's Kitley towing. I swear they're following me around. Anyway, it was called Oliver's Ferry. And there was a guy here by the name of Oliver. I don't know if that was his first name or his last name. But before the bridge, you used to have to pay him to take you across the lake. And, of course, he didn't run the ferry after dark. So if you showed up late, you'd stay at his house, and then he would ferry you across in the morning. Anyway, like I say, I don't know if his last name or his first name was Oliver, but one or the other. And that this was called, before it was called Rideau Ferry, it was called Oliver's Ferry for that reason. Anyway, people that stayed at Oliver's house were never seen again. This was a thing. If you stayed at his house, you would not be seen again. And after he passed away, they found the graves of several of these people, and they found their belongings that he had stolen on the property and everything. So basically, Rideau Ferry was called Oliver's Ferry, and the Oliver fellow who had the ferry was a serial killer. He used to have a little house right down in there. You see where that place is? It was right down in there. I've seen pictures of it. And he had the ferry boat right there, and he would take you across. My hands are all dirty from working today. I was digging in the dirt today. But he'd take you across, anyway, on the ferry, if he didn't kill you. I guess if he didn't kill you, he'd take you across the lake.